In middle school, I struggled with depression and suicide, and most of that was because I didn't have a strong relationship with my mom or my dad. My dad lives in Washington, and at the time I was living in Arizona when I was in middle school and high school, and so that's where my life changed, was in Arizona. And my mom and I would fight all the time. She knew that I was struggling with suicide, and there were so many times where things like that were thrown in my face, and I think that really made it even more difficult to want to keep going with just life in general. And I didn't have very many friends, and if I did, they were always talking about me. I was really overweight, and so I really struggled with that. But I had a friend who lived in my complex, and I walked her dog, and I remember calling her one day, and for no reason really, I told her everything that I was feeling. At the end of the next week, she invited me to go to the youth camp that they were having, and it was in California, and I remember saying yeah, because I've never been to California, I'd never seen the ocean. And a day before I left, she came to my house and she got me my first Bible and journal, and I still have it to this day. And I went, and it was that point that I realized that I had worth, and that I had a purpose for this earth, and just being myself, and that was going to be enough for everyone and God. And I learned so much about Him. And the October after that summer, I got baptized, and just a little bit after that, I met a friend who was deeply involved in Young Life, and I thought it sounded really cool. It was like youth group, but like a party every time, and it just sounded so awesome. And so I decided to go, and campaigners was like 50 people, and it was the most insane thing I'd ever seen. It was bigger than youth group, and everyone was so wonderful and so nice and just so genuine, and I just remember wanting to be a part of that. And the first week that I went, the following week they would be going to camp, and I was like, well, there's no way I'm not going to be able to go. I came from a really poor family, and so imagining going to camp was the only thing I could ever do. I never dreamed I would actually be able to go, but he talked to one of our leaders, and they paid for my camp, and I'm so thankful that they did that, because going to that Young Life camp in Colorado was one of the most amazing things that I'd ever been able to do. The people that I met, the things that I saw, the God that I had seen all over again was there, and I looked around and I was like, wow, these people are amazing. I want them in my life. They build me up, they don't tear me down, and I know that when I go home, they're going to continue to be my friends, and they're going to continue to pursue that relationship with me, and they're going to encourage me to pursue my relationship with Christ. And I found people who were looking to start Young Life here and really get it rooted in the community, and they were looking for leaders, and so I decided that I was going to make the commitment to lead. It was something that was on my heart anyway, and so I just decided to go ahead and do it. And I've loved every step of it. I've met so many amazing girls. I've met a lot of amazing leaders, and being able to walk alongside them in this journey and meet them where they're at has been such a blessing, because so many places that they're at right now are places that I've been, and so being able to relate and see where they are and where Christ is taking them, even when they may not be able to see that, it's refreshing, because it just reminds me like how big God is, and how He works in each and every one of us. I can't wait to see where Young Life goes here. I want to come back later in my life and just see how rooted it has become in the schools that I've led at, and see where my students are, and see the change that they've made in their own lives, and how God has worked in theirs, and just how that affects their community. I think it's going to be really amazing to come back and just see all the progress that God has made. So it'll be really cool. I'm Mekole, and Young Life changed my life.